What's up everyone, DSP here, reflecting back on the year of 2012 and gaming as a whole. And I just have to say, I think there was something in the water this year, because there were so many games that were super hyped, seemed like everyone was going to be interested in playing them, and they had massive potential. But then, when we all actually went and eventually played them, they really fell short. And I'm not sure if it was just a pattern, if it's because people are afraid to take chances in this bad economy, but there were just a lot of games that disappointed me this year. So let's actually take the time now to reflect back and call out some of the games that I really feel should have been a lot better than they actually were upon release in the year of 2012. Now, just to clarify, just as I did with my surprisingly good games of 2012 countdown, these are not in any particular order, and in fact, anyone with their own personal opinions is probably going to say, oh man, this one was more disappointing than this one for me. But undoubtedly, these were games that seem to have massive potential. In some cases, these are actually series where the previous installments were better than these, and there's just no excuse. It's inexplicable. It's very disappointing. Let's get to it. It's DSP's most disappointing games of 2012. Oh yeah, one more thing. This is a top 7 countdown. Why top 7 instead of top 10? Because these were honestly the 7 games that really disappointed me this year. I'm not going to make a top 10 just because that's what everyone else does. I'm an originator. It's a top 7 most disappointing games of 2012. So let's start. Number 7, so we can get this out of the way and get on to other stuff. Epic Mickey 2. Where do I start? For those of you who have been fans for quite a while, you know that back in 2010, I did a solo playthrough of Epic Mickey on the Wii. And I had a lot to say about this game that some critics disagreed with, but some actually completely agreed with. The game just had such an antiquated feel to it. When you played Epic Mickey, you felt like you were playing a game on the Nintendo 64. An outdated camera that made the game harder, a low frame rate that chopped up the game in critical parts. I mean, it was just like every kind of shitty, repetitive, annoying thing possible in a platformer, and I hated the game. Well, when Epic Mickey 2 was announced, people kind of jumped up because they said, holy shit, Epic Mickey 2, we can't wait to see Phil play this game again because we know that it's probably going to suck. And I just, alright, the game's co-op, which is cool. That's a new addition, okay? And that's probably the only positive thing I have to say about Epic Mickey 2. Because when I played this game with my girlfriend Panda Lee, we hated it. Now let's address some of the things that happened during the course of the game. Now keep in mind that we played Epic Mickey 2 on the Wii U, which is a brand new console. But that's just no excuse for a game to have the problems that we experienced. If anything, if you're porting a game to a brand new console, and this could potentially be a game that will sell that new console, you want to be sure that this game is perfect. Well, guess what? Epic Mickey 2 is a steaming fucking dog turd on the Wii U. In fact, you know what? No, it's not a dog turd because the game is so antiquated, it's a petrified dinosaur turd, okay? Let's talk about the issues with the game. Let's see. Camera that's antiquated, doesn't move properly, and it makes you fuck up repeatedly. Check. Delayed platforming jumps and basically things that you haven't experienced in a platforming game since the year 2000. Check. A frame rate that drops into the motherfucking toilet at critical times. Check. How about some of the most boring gameplay ever? We played this game for about 2.5 to 3 hours. We had no idea what the fuck we were doing or why we were doing it. It really seems like they went out of their way to make sure that absolutely nothing was improved from Epic Mickey 1. To make matters worse, they made the odd design choice that the game would be a musical, but while we were playing, there was a game bug where the cutscenes had no sound. So a musical with no sound. Yeah, exactly. But the thing overall that really pisses me off about this game is that these problems were present in the first game. And let's talk a little bit about Warren Spector, the head in charge of Epic Mickey. Now, this guy is responsible for a lot of great games in the past, like versions of Ultima. He even invented Deus Ex. So this guy obviously is a tried and true game developer who loves what he's doing and knows what he's doing. So why is it that when Epic Mickey 1 came out and there was a massive criticism about the way that it played, the fact that the camera was antiquated, why did he ignore it? Like, if there is a consensus on things that are wrong with your game and critics are giving it lower scores because of it, you should listen. No, Warren Spector apparently now thinks that he's such a gaming god, that he knows better than everyone else, that he completely ignored everybody's criticisms and released Epic Mickey 2 with all of the same problems as the first game. And the thing that really pisses me off is that we all know that Epic Mickey 1 was actually a bestseller. It sold a bajillion copies back in 2010, but let's really examine why. In this day and age, it's very hard to find games for kids. You've got the Call of Duties, you've got the Halos, you've got all these mainstream games, but they're all ultra violent. And Warren Spector even came out this year after attending E3 and says that he felt that games are ultra violent to the point where they're kind of glamorizing it and it's not right. Well, you know what? He's kind of got a point in that respect, but he has to understand that the only reason that anyone bought Epic Mickey back in 2010 is because it's a Disney game. It's a family-oriented game. If you're gonna buy your young child a game for Christmas and you already have a Wii in the household, what's it gonna be? Duh, Epic Mickey. So it's the subject matter, it's the license, it's the fact that it's a Mickey game that sold the game. It's not the content or the quality of the game whatsoever. So, for 2 years later, for him to release a sequel to this game that has all of the same problems is disrespectful, it insults the gamer, and basically it makes you understand that Warren Spector just doesn't give a fuck anymore. He thinks that he's above criticism. And so if he's going to keep putting out this shit, I recommend that you don't play it. Don't buy Epic Mickey 2 for Christmas this year unless you want to have a really boring, just uninspired experience. The game is generic, the game is boring, you don't know what you're doing, there's so many bugs that it annoys the fuck out of you. I'd rather ram my head into the fucking wall repeatedly than play this fucking game anymore. It's a piece of shit. Fuck you, Warren Spector, and fuck your whole gaming studio. Ugh, okay, I got it off my chest, let's move on. Up next, a game whose only redeeming factor is the license that they chose. Yeah, and it's actually not Epic Mickey 2. Stay tuned.